Hi, Zoli. We are on. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Always a pleasure to have people from across the pond, all the way in Europe. Yeah, let's get started with, how you got into the industry, what you guys do, all of that good stuff.
Sure. I got in the industry in 2013. We were the second on the UK market. Now we're the longest running escape room in the country because the first one, unfortunately, after COVID never reopened. Basically, one of my brothers had seen an article about escape rooms. It was already a thing in Hungary. We are a Hungarian family and we own ClueQuest. The four brothers own ClueQuest together. And then he pitched the idea that we should start doing this. And then we decided we're going to do it in London because he was living in London at the time. And then I moved to London that year myself. Yeah, and then I was the head of operations for the beginning of our journey. Then I became the CEO of the company for a few years. And then in 2020, once we made the transition into COVID and it seemed all safe and sound, went on a sabbatical that was already planned before COVID even started. So I did go on my sabbatical and then started my consulting work with escape room owners, which is Solitopia. And yeah, and I've been doing that ever since then and helping out with ClueQuest as well in a part-time capacity.
And actually, very interesting. The person that I interviewed yesterday on my podcast, his
Yeah.
name is Marty Lee Parker, and he actually knows ClueQuest because he's like, "Oh my God, I played ClueQuest in London, so I love those guys, love ClueQuest." I'll just give a shout out to Marty. Small world. He's
Yeah.
been all the way over to Europe to play your game. Just want to ask you about your consulting business. Obviously, this concerns the industry. What kind of consulting do you do? Zolitopia, I guess, is the name of your consulting business.
Yeah, so that's the consulting business. I work with any kind of or any size of operation. One thing that I do is basically three main things. So I do general business consulting, which includes business strategy and trying to plan out the future and decide on projects. So that's like one main line of work that I do with consulting. The other one is marketing, helping owners to fine tune their on site marketing and what the GMs should talk about. Email marketing, I do a lot, and then I consult people on their social activity as well. So I don't really do what you guys do with escape ads. I don't really set up Google ads myself or anything like that. It's more like free opportunities and partnerships, third party listings, and that kind of marketing. And then the third thing that I do is organizational restructure for businesses, because I'm a big believer that you, as the owner of an escape room, it's not really your job to do everything in your business, right? And I've seen too many owners who take up too many roles in their business and then they end up doing great of a work at either of them because they have all those different titles in their business. I'm a strong believer that you can do a good job at two, three different things. But when it's like beyond that, you're going to fail at something. In the past few years, I helped a lot of owners to build and restructure their team, opens up their calendar for different things like planning the future of the company or working on long-term projects, which does seem to be a struggle for a lot of escape room owners. Caught up in the operation and then they got caught up on the day-to-day stuff, which is very good to be part of that still a few years in the business so you're aware of what's happening. But I just don't think that's your main line of work that you should be doing as an owner in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can relate to this because even with running the business, I'm starting to hire so many folks just because it's just going crazy, just trying to do everything and trying to give feedback
Right.
for everything too. One thing I do want to touch on is I notice this a lot, even with the customers that we service. We do Google ads or Facebook and Instagram ads for them. I see that the exact number, but I think it's got to be somewhere up in the 70 or 80% of them do not leverage the existing client base that they have with email marketing, with nurturing lead sequences. And we don't do that, like, because we're already got our hands full with these campaigns. Can you talk a
Absolutely.
little bit about that? I really want the escape room industry people to understand that getting bookings consistently, but also leveraging your existing customer base with email marketing, with email sequences. So let's talk a little bit about that and get some value out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that because that's one of the most common mistakes I see when I start working with a company. So we look at their email database. Sometimes they don't even collect everyone's email addresses, which is a mistake on its own because if you have over 1,000 people coming through your doors and you only collect the lead booker's email address, then you have 250 emails at the end of the month instead of 1,000 emails that you could market to. People don't necessarily always play together, so and there are different occasions in different people's lives. So you definitely want to have those customer data points that you can talk to them. What I most commonly see is they send an email when there's a new room. But then even then it's an afterthought, like, oh, we opened our new room. Maybe we should send an email that the new room is open now. Exaggerating a little bit, but I've actually seen this before in practice where the room was already open and then they sent an email a couple of weeks later that, hey, we have a new room open, which is crazy to me. Like when you are building a room, that when I plan campaigns for launching a room, that's an 8-week campaign with the lead up campaign, then actually opening the room, and then you have the follow up campaign. We send, as a bare minimum, we send 8 emails. So each week there's an email about something to the whole customer base. And that's the minimum. Like you can go more aggressive than that. This argument a lot that, but we don't want to bother our customers and all that. And I'm like, well, like they're gonna unsubscribe if they don't want to hear from you for starters. Also, you want to segment your audience. If you know at the checkout process people tick a box that they are a family, then maybe you want to send them something that's specific for them, so you have a better chance to retain them as a subscriber to your email list. And marketing is all about staying in people's minds and saying the right thing in the right time to the right person. To do that, you kind of have to repeat your message and be in their minds and be in their inboxes.
Yeah, now that you've said that, I just remembered at least two of my clients that we are either doing campaigns for or redoing their website. They're building out new rooms. So I'm gonna definitely tell them to reach out to you because we don't do email marketing. I really
Right.
think that any client has, they should be nurtured. So be able to work together in the future,
Sure.
maybe
That'd be
there's
great.
definitely an opportunity there. But yeah, great. I want to ask you about challenges you faced. Let's talk about you're in the consulting business. You obviously been in the escape room business for a while.
Yeah.
You're in a different part of the world in Europe, UK. What kind of challenges do you face over there with your escape room business or with the escape rooms industry in general?
Right. I mean, London is a special market in this. Like, you're kind of lucky and unlucky because in London, you see what's coming in the industry. It's a very fast paced market. New things come and go all the time, and there's a new buzz around the new thing for a few years, and then there's the next new thing. I've already seen the London market saturating twice. It already happened before COVID around 2017, 2018, when we started seeing that maybe there are too many escape rooms on the market. Interesting number about London, there used to be 50 venues in London. Now there are only 30, right? So that already shows that, okay, there was a big drop, and probably 30 is roughly what London can sustain. So I think we're at the point where it's a healthy number of venues in the city. That is something that's going to happen to our industry. That immersive is still on the rise. There are different type of immersive games popping up. You have the like projection type ones where you like touch the wall. You have like this new concept quiz boxing popping up. You have all sorts of immersive experiences. Monopoly Life Size in London opened up a couple of years ago. We have Phantom Peak. We have the Paddington Bear experience opening up in London. We are not the new kid on the block anymore. So we will have to do a lot more partnerships. We will have to embed ourselves in the community a lot more, work with other businesses around us that are complementary and have their own footfall that we can rely on. And then vice versa, we can give something to their customer base. Yeah, we just have to do email marketing. We have to even, like partner with the local pub to have a poster of your business. It's like simple things like that. You really have to figure out your marketing mix based on your local market. That's another mistake that I see a lot in Facebook groups and just in general in the industry, that people go by, they get these like blanket advice for marketing. And there's London market is hugely different to a small town market where there is only 50,000 people, but there is an immense amount of tourism coming in. That's a very different market to a London market, or that's a very different market to a middle-sized city of like 300,000 people with no tourism, but a very strong community. It really comes down, in my experience, it really comes down to figuring what works for your market. And as far as our struggles go, you do have to do just traditional marketing to get the business.
Even with the escape room industry in the last 3 to 4 years, there's been a massive drive in mixing them up with other kinds of experiences. Now we're doing more escape rooms with rage rooms, escape rooms with rage and axe throwing, escape rooms with splatter room, a
Right.
thing like that recently emerged
Is
in
that
the
when you
last probably five
physically
years
like throw
where
like
you paint, yeah, you just throw paint everywhere, the walls and each other, and like what do you call those lights?
Laser tag?
Psychedelic lights where people look weird, like when you have paint, like it glow in the dark
Right. Yeah, yeah,
lights.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's yeah.
yeah, that, yes, UV lights. Those, yeah, those are new. We're doing that. Yeah, and then typically, even when we started, I think we started marketing for escape rooms in 2018 or 2019. Can't remember the exact year. But at that point in time, there was enough search volume that you could just get away with like just doing Google ads. But now there's an awareness factor because if you're doing other immersive experiences, you have to really get the customer and educate them on your other experiences. I mean, people mostly know about escape rooms, but these other experiences, they are not so much aware. For instance, the immersive experience. What is the search volume going to be for that on a Google search
Sure.
page? Not high. If they don't understand or feel the experience, so and then video is big thing now because like
Mm.
even Facebook and Instagram is pushing more video. This is an interesting stat that I learned the other day. Facebook does not have enough reels to push out in their feeds, which is why whenever you try to post something on Facebook, it also asks you if you want to put this as a Facebook reel as well. It's really trying to get in on the real business because YouTube
Right.
Shorts, if you think about it, TikTok Shorts, if you think about it, Facebook is competing with that and still is the number one revenue source for social media, Facebook and Instagram. TikTok hasn't picked up yet, but in the next 5 years, these millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, they're going to age and they're going to get in the 20s and 30s age group. So then they're going to start spending. Always telling customers like, hey, if you don't want to be on TikTok, great. But in the next 5 years, these people are going to grow up and start spending money because they're maybe young now, but in 5 years, they're not young anymore. Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
just,
absolutely.
it's,
I think that's a really good point you made there about raising a new generation of escape room players. Like, working with schools and making sure that you have school groups. And I know that a lot of escape room owners don't necessarily like young players, and I get that. I've run games for young players, and it is quite, it's a challenge. Let's just leave it at that. It can be a challenge to run games for young players. But that's the thing, like, if they you have to think long term for your business. If you're planning to be in this business 10 years from now, you do want to grow with those kids, right? Like, you do want to make sure that's like family time for them, that they like remember fondly from their childhood, and then they come back when they have their jobs and they have their spending power and they have their families they want to take somewhere, and they will be like, yeah, you remember that was great family time and we went to that escape room, let's go back. Yeah, that's a with your
very
audience.
cool. Yeah, awesome. We're really on the same page with a lot of things. Let's talk a
Cool.
little bit about engagement. Obviously, you've been in the game for over 10 years. This is a long time. You're probably one of the first escape rooms you said in the UK, maybe?
So in the UK, we were the second, yes, and
Oh, wow. Okay. Um,
globally, I would say we are, I don't know, maybe top 100, something like that. I don't
yeah,
want to make false statements, but we
yeah.
were very early on to the game.
Yeah, definitely. You were the new kid on the block at that point in time. For social media, I see some escape rooms just post pictures, people that are just checking out, they finish the activity, and then they hold a bunch of props, which points to each other and whatnot. Besides that type of engagement, like, do you do anything else? Do you run any contests? Like, how do you get your crowd engaged so they can now come back and play the other experience, depending on how many games you have?
Sure. I mean, it's tough. Like, I always advise everyone against just posting their team photo because no one cares. Let's be honest here. If I've been to an escape room, I don't want to see a group of randos on my feed who played that escape room. It's not interesting content, so I'm not going to engage, and that's really going to put you at the bottom of being on anyone's feed. The issue is, I guess, with Meta nowadays is that as far as like business pages go, they really just want your money, like full stop. They don't say it openly, but that's what they want. Like, they really don't prioritize you unless you do something crazy that blows up on the internet. But I remember, and it's a bit of a sidetrack, but I remember seeing this post about ranking trilogies of like what movie in the trilogy was the best, and they had like a crazy amount of engagement on that post. 10,000 comments or something nuts like that, right? TikTok is not helping with that because it's making, people doom scroll. And then if you would ask them, like, what did you see in the past 2 hours, they would really struggle to tell you anything what they've seen in the past couple hours. Like, what I usually say to my clients is, like, almost use at least your Facebook feed and Instagram feed as a bulletin board. What really works is email marketing, and then you should have your socials in the marketing mix, but you shouldn't expect crazy amount of engagement. What do you see? Because this is what I see.
No, actually, I'll tell you this. One of our oldest escape room clients based out of Rhode Island. They're a tiny town. They were featured as one of the top 50 escape rooms in the country. And this is back in 2022, if I'm not wrong. But really what you said is exactly what they do, like in terms of engagement. They have like team of the month, some competition that people can engage in, and they have a lot of raving fans. So these people actually engage because they have either come back to play other games. There's 4 games that they have, and the owner's actually now moved out to a different state. He's trying to expand to another state. His partner takes care of the business. That, like anything where people have something to get out of it, instead of just like looking at someone's picture, someone else's experience. Okay, they had fun, great. Facebook doesn't really promote that anyway, so it's not going to really
Yeah.
help, especially with if you're doing email marketing with 1,000 people. I have clients that have email lists up to 10,000, 15,000 people, and they're not really doing anything with it. That's gold, because those are active audiences that have already come to your venue to play and
Yeah.
experiences, and these guys know you. So maybe they have a friend, maybe they have a coworker, maybe they have a whole company that needs something to do that they don't even know or thinking about it to do this stuff. Once you combine that with email marketing, like you said, just a bulletin board, you might not even get that much engagement from it. If you're constantly reminding people that, hey, we're here, have fun with you, we're here to give you a good time, then they will choose you over someone else or some other thing that they thought about doing. What we really like seeing that works, especially generally in digital marketing, is you really have to tell people what to do. So you have to tell people, hey, there's an escape room in this area. You need to go here. Oh, hey, by the way, we opened a new game, or we haven't opened a new experiences. Now we have VR. You have to let them know. People are not going to take the ownership of going and finding out what you have to offer. The fact that if I email them, what if they get mad? Like, well, you already collected their email. They already gave it to you. If they don't like it, they'll unsubscribe. And the amount of people that are unsubscribed, it's really low. Anyway, probably 5 or 10% will unsubscribe. The rest will keep getting your content. But I guess even doing email marketing takes some effort, because you have to set up the sequences, you have to set up the offers. This takes time. I
I
guess
think,
owners don't really, yeah.
I think that all the time the problem is that marketing is left on the sidewalk a little bit, and it's done by someone who's like who doesn't don't necessarily know what they're doing, and they're doing it the best they can. But yeah, it is a problem where you touched upon that. What if people get mad? Like there's an unsubscribe button, and then they can get off your list. And sometimes there is a little bit too much.
I just wanted to ask you a couple of more questions and we can wrap this up. A couple of things. First off, do you sell gift cards, merchandise for your escape room business?
Yeah, we do. We sell gift cards. They had their main season amount for Starbucks that I think Starbucks has $1 billion in like unclaimed gift cards, something insane number. Maybe it was 100 million, but
Wow.
it was like an insane number they
Wow.
have in unclaimed gift cards. Yeah, we do sell gift cards. We try to promote them like when it's Mother's Day, when it's Father's Day, but they don't really sell that well for those occasions. Christmas seems to be the time when people think it's a good idea to buy a gift card. Sorry, what was the other half of the question?
No, I guess the other half of the question was, do you now, but at one point, do you switch over as an escape room owner to give the reins over to someone that is running the games or is a game master? Sure, did you always have employees when you started, or?
So we had a employee very early on, just a few months into the business. We had someone to help us run the games. We started off. I have a very similar origin story to any escape room owner out there. If you're a small business, already you should be setting yourself up to delegate. In my opinion, if you want a long-term business that's healthy in the long run, that has people who are capable of doing things. They have their own autonomy and authority to do certain things and make decisions. The owners should let them make their mistakes, and owners should let them grow into those positions. And just because they're doing something differently doesn't mean that necessarily worse than what you do. It might be just different. Sometimes it's worse, but sometimes it's better. And you just have to come to terms that it's different than the way you would do it. But if the business still runs and the business is still running smoothly and grow and all of that, then great. Like for that, you have to delegate and build your own team.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up, but I want to just ask you to let us know about your marketing consulting business for escape rooms, for immersive businesses.
Sure.
Tell us where people can find you, how people can find you, and how you can help them.
Absolutely. So if they, you can always find me on Facebook. I'm quite active on all the escape room owners groups, so you can find me there, and just send me a direct message on Messenger, or you can go to zolitopia.com. You can check out my consulting work I offer, and you can contact me there. As I said earlier, I'm kind of a jack of all trades a little bit because I've been around the industry so much, and so for so long, and I've done and seen a lot of things. But yeah, the main things, if you do what, if if you're listening to this in the future, and if you want to build a business where you can step away and focus on the things that you really love about your business, I can help people, help you build that organizational structure around you that allows you to do that. Or if you're struggling with your marketing and what to day to day, and how to build a campaign and launch a campaign, then I can give you structure for that as well. And I actually, the way I usually work is I teach people how to do these things. So I don't necessarily do it myself. I kind of hold people's hands through the process so they learn themselves. So when I'm finished, they can either hire someone to do it for them, or they can do it, they're more capable to do it themselves. So that's kind of the two main things that I can help people with.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, my main goal of doing these podcasts is to help the industry to learn not just about marketing, but the overall business operations of this industry, because there's a lot of moving pieces, there's a lot of elements. Since we don't necessarily invest our time in educating customers on how to run these campaigns, if we do run them for them, but we do like it when they have knowledge and expertise about their marketing systems, whether they are doing it themselves, whether they have a marketing agency doing it for them, they should know going on behind the scenes. Even if they do want to do it themselves, we want to fully encourage them to do it properly. So in that case, you'd be a great resource, and I'd be happy to refer them to you, because not everybody wants to work with a marketing agency. Not everybody wants to hire a marketer. Maybe they just want to do it themselves, and that's totally okay. But do it
Yeah,
right. At least get some expert help. Don't just set up campaigns, expect that it's going to automatically work and generate revenue for you. Some people don't even track their campaigns. Like, they don't have remarketing set up, they don't have tracking set up. I'm like, this is basic stuff, guys. Like, I understand you're not from the marketing space, but if you're not tracking who's coming to your website, how are you going to know who your customers are? Like, you need to do that
yeah,
basic stuff, right?
exactly.
Great chatting with you, chatting with a Brit from all the way in Europe, in the UK. I've never had on the show, but you're originally from, you said,
Yeah, I'm originally
Poland?
from Hungary. I lived in the
Hungary?
UK for
Hungary.
9 years. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Go down over to that side of the world. Definitely will holler at you, maybe
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
play
Let me
some of
know.
your
I'm
games.
happy to host you for a free game for sure.
Awesome. If you ever come down on this side of the world, definitely give us a holler. We'll love to show you around.
Yeah,
Always welcome.
absolutely. Love that.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Well, thank you.